You know, when I think of reckless anime characters, I would usually think of Gon from Hunter x Hunter for the incredible stunt he pulled off in Greed Island with Bomber. But in all honesty, Okuran takes the cake for this one because I cannot believe he suckled that granny's tit. That was insane. I literally paused the episode for a few minutes because I was like, I could not contain whatever sort of ick or disgust I was feeling at that point. That was absolutely insane. DandaDan has to go down as my favorite anime this season because story structure wise, I think what they've done with the first four episodes is absolutely beautiful. It's a really tight knit first arc. And it's in contrast to a lot of other shows because typically in a lot of shonens that are similar to DandaDan, what they will do is they'll have one episode or maybe two episodes to kind of do an introduction to the characters or the main character and one of the side characters. That's typically how they start off. Like, for example, in One Piece, you have the Orange Town arc, which is like one or two episodes, right? Naruto, you have the whole introduction with Iruka and the academy, and then the next episode is introducing Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura. Bleach has like a just a one episode introducing Rukia, and then Ichigo gets his powers, and so on and so on. But Dandadan decided to do this in a four episode arc, as in the first episode we're left with a cliffhanger that Okuran's knob has been stolen and he has this curse, and basically we're left with him trying to get back his knob and get rid of this curse, and that lasts all the way up until episode 4. And I think they did this in such a beautiful way. It's such a tightly it's a really nice way of doing it because we get introduced to Okuran and Isa and their dynamic, and then we delve deeper into that. Episode 3 we get introduced to Dodoria, Granny Seiko, or Dodoria, whichever one you want to call her. And this episode was just really the finale. It's done absolutely well, in all honesty. I think it's fantastic. What I loved about this episode was the teamwork and dynamic between Okuran and Ayase. I think they work together so well. I would say that Ayase is a bit more of the brains, at least so far, and Okuran is a bit more of the brawn in many ways in that dynamic from what I'm seeing so far. Because I feel as though every time they got a one up on Turbo Granny, it was because of Ayase's quick thinking and intuitiveness. Like when they were inside of the cave and they needed to trick her into playing tag. And essentially, Ayase was like, look, I thought that you are the Turbo Granny. I thought you're so fast. Why don't you give us 10 minutes so that we can run away from you? Obviously, the Turbo Granny doesn't really play by the rules strictly, and she counts in a very sporadic and quick way, so they're not able to get away. Turbo Granny crushes Isa, and Okuran is shocked by the whole thing. He absorbs all of Turbo Granny while Isa is stuck underneath this sort of weird gravelly bit that Turbo Granny put her underneath. She's able to use her psychic powers to control Turbo Granny while Okuran has fully absorbed her, which was really, really awesome. So the episode gets a bit creepy and a bit dark because Turbo Granny obviously has control over the people in the city. She also has control over the massive crab that is inside the cage, and that crab that was a bit creepy as well. And I wouldn't have thought the spirit would be a crab. And the episode at some point devolves into this amazing chase sequence where Okuran is using the powers of Turbo Granny to like land from really incredible heights and pull off all sorts of incredible stunts while you're seeing like 2D animated 2D animated backgrounds like pan around, and Isa is using her really incredible psychic abilities as well. It's just that chase scene was absolutely beautiful. But we come back to the end of the episode, and the way they are able to beat Turbo Granny is great because it's a mixture of Okuran being good at utilizing his spirit skills, but also ISA being able to outthink Turbo Granny, because Turbo Granny is obviously way faster than them, and we see that train throughout the episode, like throughout the later half of the episode, and ISA just thinks, you know what, let me just get on top of the train. We can't run over 100 miles per hour or kilometers per hour, I believe it was, but the train can do 120. Even though Turbo Granny eventually jumps onto the train and she's like, they don't always go at high speed, but by that point, they're already outside of the city, and then ISA is able to use her psychic abilities to just get rid of the train. It's is really done beautifully. This whole entire episode is done in a fantastic way. And it's great because we even get more of my favorite grandma at the end of the episode, because this was hilarious. Obviously, the goal of this arc was for Okuran to get back his knob, and he successfully does get back his knob earlier on in the episode, sort of. But he's fully got back his knob, and oh, Granny Seiko is like, look, have you really got back your knob? You're not eating. Are you okay? And she's like, let me see it. Let me see it. And she just chases him around.